Hey, I just cleaned this up. Knock it off. Yeah, bust out the D9 again. Jeez. This is how you get a cat filter to remove. If it's on too tight and it's cold, this whole housing will turn, but this center part won't. So you take a bunch of screws and drill through the side, and you can see they went right through there. Anyway, had to put 4 of them in there to get it to break loose. Okay, this is cat's drain hole in their C9. You do have one more plug in the very back corner, but that one right there is the hole out of the pan. But this is the drain cock. This is the drain valve, and it screws into this big adapter. And so there's the bottom of the drain fitting, the brass, and then this screws into the bottom of the pan. So you've got 1 inch of oil that stays in the bottom of the pan that you're never going to get out unless you unscrew this whole thing every time. Unless you tip the machine or something. Anyway, there's the hose on the other side, and that's for the quick oil change where they suck it out of the pan. But it's up there just as high, so there's no way they can get all the oil out. So we put 3 gallons of oil in it and pulled the dipstick out, and it was at the full line. And yet we only got 1 gallon more oil out of the pan. So that tells me the dipstick isn't right either. So we're going to, now that we've got all the oil out of it, we're going to have to put 8 gallons in it and then make a mark on the stick. So we've been operating this hoe for the last 6 months with about 5 gallons of oil in it. That's all we got out of it, was 5 gallons. And I think it's because the dipstick isn't calibrated correctly, or it's not marked correctly. I don't know which. Probably both. Okay, it's decided to stop snowing, then it decided to hail, then it decided to rain. Anyway, I've got to take the 336 to a job tomorrow. So I took the grader and graded the driveway down to gravel so we could get hooked up. These West Coast trailers are useless up here in the snow. Anyway, you'll notice the bucket's gone. So tomorrow we're putting a brand new tool on, and I'll show you what that tool is. Okay, this is their grain bucket. This is like a 7 or 8 yard bucket, and you're just gonna load like a shovel with it, and on the front it doesn't have a cutting edge, it's just got a round piece of pipe so you can't damage the ground pile or pick up dirt. And then these are the cylinders, and right here these are gates. So after you scoop a bucket full, you curl out until this is the bottom over the truck, and then you open the gates and it allows you to dump. Anyway, here's the, I had to take the pins out of my bucket and put in here, and whoever built this, they really messed up on line boring these holes, and this one here was pretty crooked, but this big pin here Took 3 hours with a peanut grinder and some discs and flapper wheels to get that pin through. Anyway, I don't know who builds these. I think they built this in a pretty big hurry. I think the high school ag class could weld better than that, but whatever, as long as it works. But this is our next project. We're going to be loading grain out with this because they just have so much loss to using a front end loader. And apparently this method is faster than a front end loader. Because you just sit there with the machine and swing around and dump in the truck. So we've gone from picking up boulders.
I lift things up and put them down. I lift things up and put them down.
Digging canals. Now we're going to move grain with a 336 cat. Okay, this is the pin grabber quick coupler on a cat. And you can't just unhook that thing. Because of the way it's made, I'm assuming they did this the way they did so it didn't fall off. So what you've got to do, if you've got to switch it to uncouple, and see it's not going to move, so you got to curl your bucket around and hold the lever for 5 seconds. See, and there it goes. Now if you let go of the lever at any time during this process, okay, there it's coming back. And see how slow it is? So you got to put pressure to it again. Seeing how fast it'll go? It shuts. Okay, there it is unhooked. It moved a little, but you've got to hold it. If you let go of it, it kind of stops. So I learned a hard lesson the other day. There we go, shut up. We're locked. We tried to hook it to this grain bucket and we coupled it up, but this grain bucket won't allow you to curl all the way back. See the rams on there? That's the bottom side of the bucket. So when you start curling that up, you start hitting those braces that hold the slides. So what I had to do was right there on the top back of that coupler, pin grabber, I had to take, let's see, about almost 4 inches of flat bar and then put a sledgehammer upright in there and then duck and cover while we pushed it up against the thumb, and then it finally released. So I'm gonna have to make a new tool for that, and I'm gonna have to make it so that it goes around that pin. Just cut a half circle around that big pin, and then it'll have to go up to the back side of the thumb there, and probably have to weld a couple of lugs on there to keep it from spitting it out, coming through the windshield and killing you. But that's the only way you can get these to unhook, as far as I know. You literally have to put something in there that binds that up and holds it. Now you can't put it on the ground, you can't do any of that, or it won't unhook. The only way you can get it to unhook is to curl it all the way in, and it has to bottom out. So anyway, I'm waiting for the cat man to show up, and he's going to program another work tool specification into the display. And the reason we have to do that is we're going to run those what do you want to call them, chintzy rams here, and it'd blow the guts out with the pressure the thumb has. So we've got to reduce that down to about 2,000 psi. And so he's going to come and program that in the machine. That way when we put this on, we'll have to put enter the right work tool into the display, and that will reduce the pressure. Right now the thumb has about 3,000 psi, and that would blow those cylinders right out.